Hello and welcome to On Point. I'm Herrera. There are nearly 500,000 NCAA student athletes in the country. CSUN and other universities are committed to keeping them healthy, safe, and encouraging them to learn and grow in all aspects. Athletes are required to be given academic advisement that implements rules, regulations, and policies affecting their lives on campus. But last year, the NCAA found that CSUN's former director of basketball operations had committed academic fraud involving 10 players. He was accused of taking online tests for students. CSUN's men's basketball team was placed on 3 years probation as a result. And the team was on a self-imposed 1-year postseason ban as well. CSUN is not alone in facing controversies and stigmas surrounding student athletes, but the majority of them believe these stereotypes are not true. We asked some CSUN athletes to explain what they go through academically and how they feel about stigma surrounding them. Here's what they had to say.
People think our lives are very easy just because we have special privileges of getting our classes, ahead of them, or we do get people to help us out in our schoolwork. It's actually very difficult and just super tiring. When it is in season, you definitely have to make sure you know what homework assignments are due, when your tests are, and make sure you turn it in either before you travel or make sure while you're traveling you have a select time that you know you're going to be able to get it done.
My classes have been hard, not gonna lie, but I've been able to juggle that just because of, the extra support athletics brings, the tutoring, the extra study hall hours. I was able to take advantage of that and really do well in my classes so far.
Oh, you're an athlete, so you must cheat on tests, or you get the assignments handed over to you, or professors help you just pass, just because you need grades to compete. And honestly, it's completely false. Some professors can care less if you're an athlete.
Normal students sometimes think, athletes got it easy in the classroom. But so far, for me at least, it's been, teachers haven't been too, it's not like I get this and they get that. So really, I think sometimes it's harder just because we have so much other commitments that, when we're traveling and stuff, we still got to do our schoolwork. Anywhere from 12 units to be a full student, because you have to have 12 units to be able to compete, to, 18 units. I know student athletes who are in 18 units, are students, and they work. Yeah. On top of that, I'm part of that. I work, I'm on the team, and I'm a student, so it is hard to handle.
CSUN's athletic director, Dr. Brandon Martin, had this to say about the stereotypes surrounding student athletes.
Well, I think in some cases, student athletes are stereotyped as being athlete students versus student athletes. And I think there's this misunderstanding about the day-to-day challenges that student athletes face. They essentially have two jobs. They have to be students and they have to be athletes. And so I think there's this misunderstanding about student athletes, I guess, having overcompensating or over-allocating their time to athletics over academics.
On Point star Harvey has more on the story.
Thank you, Shawandi. I'd like to welcome our first guest. Today I'm joined by Ed Jackiewicz, the CSUN faculty athletic representative to the NCAA. Today we will be discussing student athletes and their academics. Dr. Martin says student athletes have a lot on their plate. Let's listen.
Well, some of the sacrifices is they have to devote time studying. They have to be good time managers. Time management is huge for student athletes. Unlike a non-athlete, they have schedules. They have schedules that they have to follow, and they have to have an inordinate amount of discipline to follow that schedule. That schedule really propels them to the success that we want them to have, both academically and athletically.
Could you elaborate on what Dr. Martin said, and what difficulties do you believe that CSUN student athletes face academically?
Yeah, I definitely agree that time management is key to their success. So they have a very rigid schedule and they need to adhere to it, and sometimes it's demanding. And then when you factor in, the practices, with the academics, with the study, required study hall, and then you throw travel on top of that, it really puts some pressures on the students. And a lot of times they'll struggle, but there's a lot of resources at their disposal, and so it's up to them to take advantage of those as best as possible and to be successful both on and off the field or court.
As a staff member, what type of stigmas do you believe are associated with CSUN Athletic Department?
Well, I think part of my job as a faculty athletic rep is to build better communication between the athletic side of campus and the academic side of campus, because sometimes there's misunderstanding on both sides, right? That faculty are not, don't understand the student-athlete experience, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But also, faculty want students to succeed academically and on the field, and so I think we're not adversaries. We're supporters of the student-athletes. We just do it in a slightly different way. And so I think building a better understanding, a lot of faculty think all student-athletes are on a free ride and getting all these benefits, when in fact a lot of them don't get any money or much money at all. And so there is a lot of misunderstanding. And also I think the other myth is that student athletes aren't good students. And in fact, there really are a lot of very successful students who are athletes.
In your experience, how does the academic stigma associated with being a student athlete lead to the underperformance in a classroom?
How does the stigma? I think for some students, and I think this is a minority, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If people don't expect them to do well, then they might not do well. Or, faculty, and I often deal with issues that student athletes have with faculty members when faculty are being unreasonable and not understanding of the demands. The students aren't making the practice schedules, the students aren't making the travel schedules, they're just doing what they're being told to do. And some faculty are not always reasonable in that area, so I have to sort of explain this is a university-sponsored event that they need to attend to, and we need to make accommodations, and I'm there to help. I can proctor exams, or I can help facilitate dialogue with the department chair or the professor or whoever needs to be involved in those conversations.
Okay. In your experience, have you found it common for students to more or less be able to push themselves in their academic performances as well as in the classroom?
I think there's a lot of examples of that on campus. When you look at the students who are very successful athletically, a lot of times they're successful academically as well. For example, last year's Big West Scholar Athlete of the Year, Nicole Thompson, was the top student in the engineering college, and she was she won a bunch of athletic awards as well. So there is a lot of good examples, and that story is my job to tell to the rest of campus. So when I go speak to the faculty senate, I say these are the things that there's some real bragging points about athletics. I think with any topic, sometimes people like to talk about the negative stuff, but there's a lot of positive that needs to be spoken about, and I feel it's part of my job to do that.
As some people might be aware, a few years ago, the men's basketball team here at CSUN had a self-imposed postseason playoff ban for academic fraud. Dr. Martin provided his thoughts on how the school has handled the situation since. Let's listen.
Yeah, I think it was an unfortunate situation that happened for the athletics department and for the university, but I would frame it as an opportunity. It was an opportunity for the athletics department to take a close look at specifically what services and accommodations we were providing for the student athletes. It was an opportunity for us to enhance and upgrade the different services and technology for our student athletes. And it was a chance for us to create a place, the Matador Achievement Center, a place where our student athletes could really feel like get the love and support and encouragement that they need to be successful.
Ed, could you give your thoughts on what Dr. Martin said?
Yeah, so I was not the FAR when this transpired, but I think what I've noticed over the last 2 or 3 years, this is my 3rd year as the FAR, things have gotten so much better with everything from compliance to academics to work in the MAC to tutoring. Everything about the academic experience has been improved over the last 3 years. So I think, as Dr. Martin was saying, that was an opportunity. Sometimes you need to sit back and reflect on what we're doing well, and what we could improve on. And I think there's always room for improvement. And when I took over as FAR, one of the first observations I had was, students could really benefit by more faculty involvement. And so I started a few programs that I think have been very effective in improving the student-athlete experience on the academic side.
Okay. How effective and important do you believe it is to have a position like the FAR?
I think, you know, it is I think it's a valuable link between, as I said before, the athletic and academic side of campus. We need people in the room, and I think the NCAA realizes that, you know, when there's whenever something is happening that is large in scope in terms of like academics and student athletes, the FAR needs to be there. And I think, and I'm appointed by the president of the university, so she expects me to report back to her and to observe from a neutral perspective. I'm not on anyone's side, I'm on the student side. So, and sometimes that puts you in an uncomfortable spot as well. You know, that's, you know, explaining to faculty why certain things are one way and explaining to coaches and the athletic staff why things are another way. And so you're stuck in that middle ground, which is sometimes uncomfortable, but I feel like a lot of progress has been made, and I've helped to facilitate some progress in terms of their experiences, so I feel good about that.
Okay. And what type of resources does, you know, the center that you work for facilitate to the student athletes?
Well, I don't work with the Matador Achievement Center. I supplement what they do. I talk closely with their director frequently, and we sort of devise plans, and I look at what they're doing and how can we supplement that to improve the experience. And so, for example, a couple of years back, I started a faculty student athlete breakfast meeting. So once a month we meet. Student athletes from every college will meet with professors from that college just for informal conversation, to build bridges, to create improved dialogue so that both sides understand each other better. And I think it's been really successful. The students get a lot out of it, and the faculty will walk away and say, oh, I never really knew that. I never really thought about it in that way. I never really saw it from their perspective. And so that creates better understanding and I think a better campus community in this area.
Is there anything that you feel that you would like to see the university do differently that they're not already doing?
That's a good question. I mean, there's always ways to improve. Nothing specific comes to mind. I just, you know, I think that the student athletes are going to benefit by more interactions with faculty. And so if we could somehow facilitate that, they are students and they are 99.9% of them are going to do something other than athletics when they graduate. That's the NCAA tagline, right? And so how do we prepare them for life beyond athletics? And I think we are going in the right direction, but there's always more we can do.
Thank you so much for being here with us today, Ed.
Thank you, Star.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Hey there, Mrs. Carter. You can earn over 10% on your money if you deposit your savings into our investment program.
Lucky sweepstakes winner.
Mrs.
Just
Carter,
enter your
Grandma,
contact information and your winnings will
Grandma, it's me. Please help me. I'm stuck in Ohio and my wallet was stolen. Please send me some money so I can get home.
Millions of people, especially seniors, are targeted every day by an array of fraudulent scams through online technology. Please be aware.
Birthday.
Look at these boots.
Man, those are nice. You should buy them.
Half the price of the real thing. Do you want them?
The production and sale of counterfeit goods cause more harm than meets the eye.
Get to work!
And the profits can fund organized crime.
So, do you want them?
Buying counterfeit products?
No way.
It's just not worth it.
Green. Red hat. Oops. Red shirt, blue shirt, yellow shirt, Oops. Yellow pants, red pants, green pants. Oops.
Even with the best effort of CSUN's athletic department, athletes still face challenges. Now, here are two current student athletes talking with Star about their experiences here on campus.
Thanks again, Shuandi. Now let's welcome Manny Vargas from CSUN's track and cross country team and Carl Brown, a guard for CSUN's men's basketball team. Carl, we'll start with you. And Manny, if you'd like to respond after. How do you feel that you are perceived and are treated by faculty and non-athletic students on campus?
I feel like there's more expectation for us being student athletes, and like we're representing the program, so we kind of have to like represent ourselves in a good way on and off the court. So, because we're representing not just ourselves, we're representing the school too.
Most definitely, I couldn't agree more. The faculty, it's great. You know, they do know that, first of all, we are students, so they do everything they can for us to, you know, get our grades up. We do have like tutoring and things of that sort. So if we need any kind of help, we do have that available to us, and they're very helpful. You know, if you do need help with like grad school, you know, just anything in general, they're always there, ready to give you a hand.
Okay. And can you briefly, Manny, walk us through the typical day of a college athlete?
Right, so I mean, you wake up extremely early, you know, just anywhere from 5:50 to like 6 in the morning. You do your necessities, go to practice, usually 2 or 3 hours, go straight to class, and on certain days you'll practice twice, so you'll do that around maybe 3 to like 5 or something like that. And then class, go home, eat, and repeat every day.
This next question is for Carl. We know that you had some special challenges of being a transfer student. Can you briefly describe your transition as a transfer student from a 2-year to a 4-year university and the academic differences that you've encountered?
There's not really any academic differences, but at the junior college, they kind of helped me out like a little more because, you know, it's not at a university. It's not like a big. It's just the big transition is coming to a university where it's more students, and the classes are more full, and you have to like register early for classes. So it's not really like a transition academic-wise. You know, the work's pretty the same.
Okay, so you would say that the workload is it's equal.
Yeah, it's balanced. Yeah, it's equal.
Manny, we know that you've joined a fraternity this semester.
Yes.
Also, in a few short words, could you describe your first semester juggling everything? And is there a difference in anything that you would do if you weren't able to juggle the two?
Right, definitely. It's been a very tough process. I'm also working, so student athlete, working, and fraternity, which is, it's a lot at times, you know. Sundays are my longest days. I'll go to practice, then I'll go do a little bit of rehab, some stretching, things of that sort. Then I have work from 1 to 5, and then I have fraternity meetings from 5 to 10. So it's literally just doing stuff all day. And personally, I wouldn't recommend joining a fraternity for freshmen coming in, just because it is a lot to handle, you know. You graduated high school, you have your parents there, you have some freedom, but it's not complete freedom like you have now. And also, like, you're brand new to college, you know. I feel like you should wait a little bit to join a fraternity, just so you can get the sense of what college is, how athletics works, and things of that sort. So for me, I decided to join a fraternity just because I was always very timid, very shy. I'm not a very social person, and I mean, I went out to rush to some of the events, and I fell in love with the guys. Like, they were just amazing people that, honestly, they're helping me grow. And I know there's a lot of stereotypes with fraternities as well, but honestly, like I said, they are helping me grow. They're always like, oh, Manny, like you ran 10 miles, or you did this, and they're super encouraging. You know, they're like my hype men, I guess you can say. They're always like, hey, like, you can do better, you can do it, you know, strive for success, all this stuff. So I feel like I have two like support groups. You know, I have faculty, I have my friends, and my fraternity now that are there having my back at all times.
Manny, how important is it for you to live above or break the stereotypical stigmas surrounded by being a student athlete?
I take that to heart, honestly, just because the 4 years that I have been here, I have heard a lot of negative things about athletes, like, oh, they cheat on tests, or they don't do their homework, you guys don't go to class, you guys, well, things of that sort, you know? And it hurts because if you think about it, we're taking the same test. We're taking the exact same class. It's not like I'm getting a different test from somebody else, you know? So it kind of hurts, and honestly, like, I'm pretty sure Carl can attest to this. We're in the MAC getting tutoring, studying. We have mandatory tutoring, you know? If you don't have above, I believe, 3.0, you're mandated to go to tutoring. So for the fact that they say that we're like kind of cheating or, you know, not trying our best, just kind of sucks, because like I said, we are students first, then we are athletes. So we prioritize our work and then athletics.
Okay. To both of you, Carl, we'll start with you. Other stigmas beyond academics that surround student athletes include locker room talk about women. We received a report that at a recent sexual harassment workshop, a speaker said that she cried because of comments that some athletes made. Why do you believe that athletes are stereotyped as being a little misogynistic?
Yeah, I don't really like understand. Well, her story was kind of like upsetting to hear and all that, but some of the athletes were just trying to, you know, say like another point of view, not just from a female's perspective, or from a guy's perspective. We was trying to tell the females like how it goes down sometimes, and they just probably they took it the wrong way a little bit. But like, it's not a problem. Like, if we don't talk about girls in the locker room, really, you know, it's not something we talk about in the locker room. So it's like we just talk about NBA and practice or homework, really, like where we go, make sure someone go to class tomorrow, or if someone don't go to class that day and we all know about it, you know, we all on his head, like, why you ain't go to class today? It's not really any girl talk in the locker room.
Okay, and Manny, if you'd like to follow up, maybe?
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't see why people would think that we just go into the locker room and talk about girls. Like, yeah. I don't see why that would happen. Honestly, you go in there and you just hang out with your friends. Like he said, you talk about practice. You encourage yourself, like, hey, like, great job today at practice. Like, you killed it, things of that sort. Not like, did you check out that girl today? You know, like, why would we talk about that? That's pointless.
Manny, do you feel like you are equipped with a significant amount of resources on campus to be successful as an athlete and student? And if so, which of these resources do you use?
Oh, most definitely. I think I've used pretty much all of them, from the athletic training room for rehab, stretching, things of that sort. You know, if you're injured, you'll go there to get back on the field. Also, Braman Hall, we have the MAC Center where we have computers, study rooms, things of that sort that honestly, they benefit us a lot. They help us get our grades up. They're extremely beneficial, in other words.
Carl, do you believe that people typically think that it's easier for, or somehow student athletes receive false receipt of underserved benefits or privileges?
Yeah, I feel like people think like that, but it's not true. Like, we're expecting more of us than like anybody else here. Like, they expect us to take care of work first before anything else. We can't really just slack in grades. If we don't get our grades, we can't play. So, I mean, people think that, but it's not really true.
Okay. And Manny, what advice would you offer to any incoming freshman student athletes?
Yeah, I have a few tips. Definitely put yourself out there. Definitely go to your the professor's office hours, because that would help you a lot. You know, if you're not doing very well in the class, the professor will help you, and they're actually really nice. So, you know, go put yourself out there on your professor's hours, study. You know, don't procrastinate. You're gonna want to procrastinate, go to sleep late, but you have to realize you're gonna have either practice or class in the morning. So just get your stuff done, and then you can be social. Study, don't procrastinate. Go to your office hours. Pretty much it, and have fun. Honestly, like, you have to balance everything. There's a balance between everything. You can't just let work, school take over. You know, you have to find time to have fun, but also just balance. But basically, that's what I'm saying.
And Carl, would you like to add any advice to incoming freshman athlete students?
Yeah, like, don't get distracted. You know, come here. You know, you have a purpose to come to college, so take care of your business. You know, get rest. Don't stay up all night. That was kind of my problem my freshman, sophomore year, you know, wasn't getting enough rest. So, you know, get rest, study, you know, stay away from distractions. Choose your friends wisely. You know, if you see a group of friends that's kind of here for the wrong reason, you know, you should separate yourself. And that's pretty much it.
Well, that's all the time that we have for today. I'd like to thank both of you for being here today.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Got a quarter?
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Thank you for watching us on Point. You can follow us on social media at CSUN On Point. You can hear us on KCSN 88.5 FM on Sunday mornings at 5:30. You can watch us on Santa Clarita Valley Television on Sundays at 5 and LA 36 at 8:30 Friday mornings. For all of us here at On Point, I'm Shuandi Herrera.